Welcome back, guys, to another in-depth full trade recap video. Today I'm going to be talking through how I made $711 trading Nasdaq and caught a 120 point move this morning. Now this was extremely simple. You can learn this, and today I'm going to talk through what I looked at when I got to the market and how I caught this move from start to finish. So coming into the market, we had just swept this hourly low right here. So we just had a sweep on this sell side liquidity. Not only this, but we also had delivery from this hourly fair value gap to the left. Nice and obvious there. So we had a sweep on sell side liquidity and we're delivering from this hourly gap. So I was expecting price to be bullish. However, I needed to wait for confirmation, obviously, because we can't just hit a low and expect price to react off of it. So I wanted to see some type of confirmation. So when I got to the chart, so we were just before market open. So yeah, around 9:15. So around here. But obviously I wanted to see price confirm to me that we were bullish, and obviously I need a good setup. So obviously I came down to the 1 minute time frame first of all. And I wanted to see a manipulation. So this was the dream scenario. I called this out on stream when I got onto stream with my viewers this morning. I want to see us sweep this low and get a super strong reaction. So this would have been the manipulation leg, and I want a super strong reaction with obviously a fair value gap in the leg down. So we had the liquidity sweep here, and I need to see a really strong bullish reaction. Now you can see what follows this is this massive strong displacement candle. In this leg up, I'm going to try and make this as simple as possible. We had this really obvious big 1 minute fair value gap, which when we closed above became an inverse fair value gap. So all I did was I then had to zoom out because this 930 wick was an extremely strong drawn liquidity. If you do not know, the 930 wick, so basically the strong wick, if we get a really big wick when we on market open candle at 930, that is a super strong drawn liquidity. So this was going to be my target. However, you can see we closed really high. So the candle closed super high here above the inverse, which is good because it gives us really good confirmation. However, it's not really too good for a target. So what's the two things that market moves to? Inefficiencies and highs and lows. So if we come back, obviously on the 15 minute, there's a nice 15-minute fair value gap up here, which is nice and obvious. And there is also this hourly. So this hourly was more obvious to me. Obviously, when price comes into this hourly gap, we don't know if price is going to respect or disrespect this hourly gap, because it's a really high time frame gap, has a lot of relevance, and it's extremely obvious. So my target for this trade became when we tapped into this 1 hour unfilled gap. So this is what I was looking for. So when we come back down to the 1 minute time frame here, this was a really good target, offered me some really good risk to reward, and we also had all these sort of engineered highs. So you see how none of these highs here have ran each other, and there's liquidity resting above all these highs to the left. So that was super nice liquidity left above. And obviously the momentum was insane. So I thought we're definitely going to come back up now and at least test this hourly fair value gap. Now, if I was wrong about my bias and we were bearish, I'd still expect this move, and then we'd react from this hourly gap and come back down. So we'd maybe get some. If I was wrong about my bias, we'd maybe get this really strong reaction off the lows. We'd maybe come back, test this fair value gap, retest it, and then continue lower. As it turns out, I was not wrong, but I don't need to be 100% right about the high time frame bias to catch these moves, because we will likely come back and retrace into this gap regardless. Now, so all I did was I entered on this candle close. I entered with 3 micro contracts, had stop loss at the low for, I think it was around $470, and then targeted, about a 1.4 risk to reward to the hourly unfilled gap. As you can see, this hit extremely quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles. So 6 minutes I was in this trade. And I fully closed out there because I didn't know how price was going to react when we got into this hourly gap. We could have just rejected it and continued lower, of course. Yeah, this was the trade I took today. Extremely straightforward. Hopefully everyone understands the reason for taking this. One thing I do want to point out is there was this 2-minute gap. Now, people might maybe not have taken this because there was a 2-minute gap. However, what am I looking for when we enter a fair value gap? So I'm looking, are we stalling inside the fair value gap? Does it look like we're respecting the fair value gap? When we blast through this 1 minute with this candle close, we close inside the 2-minute with this much momentum. Does this look like we're respecting this 2-minute gap in any way, shape or form? Absolutely not. So there's no way I'm going to expect us to reject this when we've just blasted through it, blasted through the 50% and closed through it after sweeping a low. And that's a big thing. You've got to remember, always trading liquidity, not fair value gaps. So there's no way I'm going to expect this to get disrespected once we've just absolutely destroyed this 1 minute gap and closed with this much momentum through the 2 minute gap. So that's why I faded the 2 minute gap, and I also faded this tiny 1 minute here, because I'm fully trading in terms of liquidity here, not fair value gaps, and that is the most important thing to note from a trade like this. I'll always be trading in terms of liquidity, not fair value gaps, and this is a perfect example of why that is the case. Obviously, if you're not that confident in liquidity and price is not showing its hand as well as you might hope, you would wait for the higher time frame gap and all gaps to close. But this was definitely not one of those cases. I did not need extra confirmation after seeing this 1 minute bullish candle. The displacement behind this candle was unreal, so this was more than enough conviction for me to go ahead and catch 120 points on Nasdaq this morning. So any questions, feel free to comment down below or join my Discord. The link to my Discord will be in my bio. If you are interested in trading live with me, everything's in my Discord that you need to know, and the Discord's completely free to join. So get yourself involved in that. If you want more of these videos and much more educational content for completely free, drop a subscribe on the channel and like the video to let me know that. I appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully this has been informative. I'll see you guys in the next one.